Hello everybody, welcome to the first session of the Road to Inversions workshop. We're going to today cover some exercises and yoga postures that will help develop the muscle strength and flexibility for some of the inversions that we're going to work towards. So basically, these are the exercises you're going to be working with over the next week, daily if you can, and then they will hopefully give you some foundation to help you with the inversions, which we'll cover one by one in the weeks to follow. So initially I'd like you to start with a core exercise called Dead Bug, and for that I'd like you to come and lie down. Bending the knees, and I'd like you just to start by drawing everything in, navel in, ribcage in, and then lifting the feet off the mat one by one. Bring the knees so that they're over the hips, so hip width apart, and the lower legs parallel to the floor. Reaching the fingertips up to the ceiling, palms facing each other, again about shoulder width apart. Really engage everything, navel in, ribcage in. Inhale to extend opposite arm and leg, the other leg stays the same. Exhale to come back to the center. Inhale, other side, opposite arm and leg extend. Exhale, come back to the center. Keep going. Now initially you might have trouble with coordination, which is quite normal. It's called dead bug because it is difficult for most people to work across the body, so linking left and right. You're stretching and contracting some of the muscles, the deeper core muscles, which is a really effective way to strengthen the muscle groups that we need in the inner core to help stabilize us when we come into the inversion. So you're going to do as many as you can, and in between, if you need to, you can hug the knees into the chest, have a little rock and roll. It is really strong. It's better to take rest than to allow to let the back to take the load. Come back in position. Inhaling, extending opposite arm and leg. Flex the foot, push to the heel. Exhale to the center. Inhale, other side. So flexing the feet is a good way to stabilize the legs and the hips. Try and keep the leg that's bent at a 90-degree angle with the knee over the hip and the lower leg parallel to the floor. Good. And again, if you need rest, take rest. And maybe do that a few more times or do it for a little bit longer, depending on how strong you feel. Good. So we're now going to come to a back strengthener. Now having a strong back is really important for everything, including inversions. And we're also going to introduce a shoulder opening that is particularly useful for Sarvangasana shoulder stand. So again, coming to lie down on your back, feet hip width apart, try and walk the feet as close as you can towards you, and have the heels maybe ever so slightly turned outwards. Most people have the toes pointing outwards, which compresses the sacrum, the lower back. So try and have a little bit more space for the lower back. Arms by the sides. And then I'd like you to push equally through the feet and slowly uncurl the spine vertebra by vertebra. Coming into bridge position. And then see if you can start to wiggle your arms and shoulders underneath the back, interlace the fingers, and then lift the hips a little bit higher. Now this ability to bring the arms closer together underneath and wiggle the arms in and squeeze the shoulder blades together is really important for shoulder stand. I'd like you to also think about tucking the tailbone under, drawing the rib cage in, and make sure that you're pushing the big toe joints into the mat. So pushing the big toe joints into the mat helps to keep your inner legs, otherwise the tendency is for the legs to go outwards and the inner legs are not engaged, the knees go out of alignment, and when you draw the rib cage and the navel in, you're stretching more across the hip flexors. Good. And then when you're ready, release. hug the knees into the chest. Again, rocking from side to side, releasing the lower back. And then see if you can do that again. So feet perfectly straight, hip width apart, heels slightly turned outwards. Slowly uncurling the spine vertebra by vertebra, interlacing the fingers, wiggling the arms and shoulders closer together, push firmly through the arms, rib cage in, navel in, push firmly through the big toes. Stay here and breathe. And then releasing the arms, slowly peeling the spine back down vertebra by vertebra, hugging the knees into the chest. So just repeat that maybe 2 more times and stay in bridge pose for maybe 4 or 5 nice deep breaths. Good. The next exercise is going to be another core strengthener, but it also will add a bit of a shoulder opener, which helps with the shoulder opening we need for shoulder stand, and it also adds a hamstring stretch, which is really important for some of the poses where you have to walk your feet or legs in and preferably keep them straight. So for example, forearm balance. So for that, I'd like you to come and lie down flat. Start by hugging the right knee in towards the chest, pushing through the left heel. And then exhale, lift chest to knee. So when you lift, try not to hunch the shoulders. You want to use the upper abdominal muscles to lift. That's what we're targeting. And push through the heels. Then inhale to extend, push through both heels and lower the leg. Still inhaling. Just before you reach the floor, exhale, hug the leg in. So lift your chest, keep your shoulders relaxed. Inhale to extend, push through the heels. As you lower that leg, really draw your navel in towards the spine and the lower back in towards the floor. Don't touch the floor. Just before you touch the floor, exhale, chest, knee. Inhale to extend and lower the right leg with core control. Just before you reach the floor, exhale, chest to knee. Inhale to extend and lower the right leg. Exhale, chest to knee. Keep going, see if you can work with your breath. Notice the stretch into the backs of the legs as you push through the heels. Notice the upper abdominal muscles working as you lift. Notice the lower abdominal muscles working as you lower the leg. Notice the stretch across the front of the chest and the shoulders as you reach the arms up and over. So do that as many times as you can. You'll try not to overload the core, so try and back off a bit before you've completely exhausted the muscles, and when you're ready on your last one, so you can really slowly lower the leg. If you feel it in your back at any point, just bring the foot down flat and then extend the leg. Hug the left leg in, push through the right heel, exhale, chest to knee. Inhale to extend and lower the left leg, push through the heel, exhale, chest to knee. Lift the chest more than the shoulders. Inhale to extend and lower. Really draw your navel in, lower back draws into the mat. Exhale, chest to knee. Keep going in your own time. Try and focus on breathing and moving in synchronicity. So have that nice, steady, equal breath. The ability to maintain the steady and even breath is really important for working with the more challenging poses, because if you can keep your mind steady, then some of the scarier bits, the things that feel a bit out of your comfort zone, will feel less scary, and therefore you'll be able to manage them better. It's like everything in life. Keeping steady and calm, brings you halfway towards mastering a new skill. So again, on your last one, see if you can lower the leg a little bit slower, maybe take extra breaths, keep pushing through the heels. Again, if you feel it in your back, just bend the knee and bring the foot down flat. Good, and then when you're ready, just draw the knees back into the chest, take a little rock from side to side. Maybe take the head to the opposite side so you get a little bit of a twisting action in the spine. Now before we come up, we're going to do one more core exercise. I call this lower body lifts. Now the ability to lift your body up is really important for inversions, and it requires a lot of core strength. So it might seem a little bit odd, but what I'm going to ask you to do is to try and lift the legs up and over and then roll back down really slowly and lower the legs a little bit. If you have neck problems, just don't go so high. If your neck is fine, you can maybe try and lift the legs all the way up and over and roll back down. Now obviously if you use momentum, so if you swing your legs, it's easier, but you're not using your core so much. So I'd like you to think more about maybe little lifts to begin with, and over time, and this may take a little while, the lifts will get bigger. So everything should stay within your control. There should be no heaving or taking, using momentum. It should be a nice, smooth, even movement. And then on your next one, see if you can come up into a seated position. Right, so with all of these, you can do them for as long as you like. You can do them 2 or 3 times. Maybe take a break in between. I would focus on working on the ones that you feel you need the most, but also try not to overwork. So you don't want to do so much that the next day you can't do anything. So like with anything, it's better to pace yourself. So now we're going to work with some shoulder or rather strengthening for the muscles under the shoulder. So when we take weight into the arms, we don't want to just rely on the shoulder joints. They're quite vulnerable joints. We want to try and strengthen the muscles below the shoulder. So the serratus, which is right underneath the armpit, a smaller muscle, and then the latissimus dorsi, which is a much bigger muscle which spans all the way from underneath the shoulders, gets narrower as it comes into the waist. So we're going to work with something called forearm plank. I'm going to get a block for that. Now you can have a block or a brick ideally, but if you haven't got this equipment, it's fine. You just have to work a little bit harder at alignment. So block or brick, it doesn't really matter so much. I mean, the brick is narrower, so the block in a way is a little bit better if you have one. And then see if you can come onto your forearms with the little fingers to the sides of the block. Now, really important that the elbows are in line with the wrists, so not out, which you can probably see the shoulders then hunch up, which means you're not connecting so much in here. And then see if you can draw the thumbs to the sides, and that helps to open the shoulders a little bit more. Step the knees back at least a couple of inches, and then bring your shoulders to the over the elbows. Draw your navel in, rib cage in, tuck your toes under, and then lift into plank pose. Now you should be in a solid straight line. There shouldn't be any bottoms up or bottoms down. Plank of wood, straight, solid, stiff. And this is a really good core strengthener and also a strengthener for the latissimus dorsi and the serratus, the muscles below the shoulders. Stay for as long as you can. keep the breath steady. It might be more shallow, just keep it steady. And then when you're ready, release. And briefly come into child's pose. So again, I'd like you to do forearm plank maybe once or twice, or maybe even 3 times, not overworking it, but really starting to get into these muscles below the shoulders. Now the next exercise is going to be side forearm plank, which brings you a little bit more into the muscles into the waist as well, which are also important to strengthen for our inversions. And now I'm going to show this on the right side first. So bring the right forearm down. Again, try and bring your wrist in line with your elbow, and then bring the left foot in front and come onto the outside of the right foot. And before you come up, check your elbow and heel are in line. Come onto your left toes, lift high, draw your rib cage in and extend the left arm up. If you feel strong enough, you can step the left foot on the right foot, but that is really hard and often people start to sink down. So I sort of prefer this version, and I sort of swap between the two. I find here I get more of a lift and I can stay for a little bit longer. Again, stay for as long as you can. Keep the breath steady. Lift higher, rib cage in. Good, and then when you're ready, release. So again, if you can stay longer, stay longer. I count myself through these, so I try and increase my count a tiny bit over time. Left forearm comes down. I'm onto the outside of the left foot. Elbow and wrist in line, and elbow and heel in line. Right foot in front, come onto the right toes, reaching the right arm up, rib cage in, navel in. Keep the breath steady, try and lift high. Keep lifting, keep drawing the rib cage in. And then release. So we're now going to come to sort of mobilizing the whole body with some sun salutes. Now, most of you are with yoga practitioners. You can do whichever sun salutes you like. It doesn't really matter. The idea really is just to mobilize the spine and get the body heated up a little bit. Now, you can either do these sun salutes before you do all these exercises, or you could do them after. It doesn't really matter. It sometimes depends on what time of the day you're doing this. In the morning, I might want to do my sun salutes first, just because I want to limber up the body first, or in the afternoon I might want to do it the other way around, but everyone's different, so it doesn't really matter so much. So I'm just going to show you Surya Namaskar A and B. I'm going to do one of each, but like I said, you don't have to necessarily do these ones. So for Surya Namaskar A, feet together, arms to the side for Samastiti, and then inhale to extend the arms out and up, looking up. Exhale, soften the knees so you can fold from the hips, hands flat, head in. Inhale, half lift, really lengthen and extend the spine. Exhale, step or jump back. Lower chaturanga or knees, chin and chest, and then inhale, up dog, and exhale, down dog. Stay in down dog for 5 breaths. 1, feet perfectly straight, hip width apart. 2, try and draw your navel in, rib cage in. 3, try and roll your arms outwards in the shoulders. 4 and 5. inhaling, stepping or jumping forwards, looking forward, exhale, head in. Inhale, come all the way up, reaching the arms wide, lift the chest, and exhale to release. We go straight into Surya Namaskara. Be exhale, sit low. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold forwards, hands flat, head in. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step or jump back, lower knees, chin, chest or Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, right foot comes forwards, left foot turns out and flat. Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, Chaturanga. So I'll show you the knee down first version, just in case. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left foot comes forwards, right foot turns out and flat. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, down dog. So down dog is actually a very good pose to prepare for inversion, so you could stay here for a bit longer if you wanted. Because you're inverting the upper body already, you're also strengthening the arms and the legs. So really good prep for our inversions. 3, 4, and 5. Inhaling, stepping or jumping forwards, looking forwards. Exhale, head in. Sit low. Inhale is Utkatasana. And exhale, release. So those are the exercises and asanas that I'd like you to work with to prepare for next week. Like I said, if you can do this soul session once a day, great. Try not to overwork, but try not to underwork either. If you've got any particular questions, you're really struggling with something, just give me an email and I'll answer your questions. And yeah, enjoy and have fun, notice and you know, prepare anything that you want to ask for next week. Namaste, thank you.